In this presentation, we will be talking about American corporations doing business in the People's Republic of China, which we will refer as China for the rest of the presentation. For the past couple years, there has been a huge buzz on how China has grown and how big of a potential it is to sell American products there. That might be a true statement, given that China has a total population of about 1.3 billion. It has grown its GDP steadily since 1978 at a rate of 8 to 9% and has managed to become the second economical potential behind the United States. It is undeniable that there is a lot of potential far east, but many of those analysts and corporations do not understand or take into consideration many factors that actually influence the profitability and success of American corporations in China. So now we will introduce some successful American companies in China and how did they adapt to the preference of the Chinese market.
Pictured here is Starbucks. Starbucks has thrived in China, as evidenced by the one you run into on every street corner. Their menu is basically the same as in the United States. They do serve more tea, and you can get interesting items such as a duck sandwich to complement your drink. Just as with Starbucks, 7-Eleven is extremely popular in China. In fact, stores will be right next to each other or across the street from each other. They serve a completely different menu than the United States as far as food is concerned. Uh, Instead of a lot of different styles of hot dogs and rollers, you have noodles. While hot dogs do still appear, they're on the breakfast menu. They serve soy milk instead of milk. Lots of tea, a lot less soda, but Coca-Cola is still pretty prevalent. They've adjusted extremely well to the Asian tastes that require less salt and less sugar than the Western diet, and have become extremely profitable because of it. Pictured here is Circle K. Circle K is a good example of how popular 7-Eleven has actually become in China. It's invited competition from the States. We've seen how profitable they are and want a piece of the pie in kind of a Me Too manner. McDonald's in China has also become very popular and is actually held in very high regards in the thought of the population. They'll hold high school graduation parties there, they'll do large celebrations there, and people see it as a high quality restaurant. The menu is much the same as in the States. You can still get Big Macs, double cheeseburgers, that kind of thing. The breakfast menu is a little different. Pictured here is sausage, egg, and noodles. And here's a green tea and red bean sundae and some seaweed shaker fries. They're also just very prevalent. Here's one in a train station and other public transportation places. This fine group of people here is enjoying a nice traditional Chinese lunch and some company. And if you notice the refreshment in the middle of the table is Coca-Cola. It's also a very popular soft drink over there. I don't know if it's true or not, but to me it tastes less sugary than the Coca-Colas we get in the States. I don't know if that's because it had real sugar instead of corn syrup, or if it actually has less sugar content in the States. Here's a large American financial institution, JP Morgan. They've helped finance import and export out of China for a long time and have made a lot of money doing it. The Chinese car market is huge and is expected to grow much bigger. It's expected that in 2020, the Chinese economy will consume 40 million cars. Comparatively, the US in 2007, before the recession, consumed 16 million cars. It's expected in 2020 it will be half of the world's demand for automobiles. The good news is US companies, such as the ones shown in these slides, are already partnering with several Chinese companies such as Chery, and they're making a lot of money off these transactions. So as China's car market grows, US profits grow for these companies. Pictured here is a US company that produces vitamin water. It's basically the same formula as the drink in the United States, but the labels are far funnier if you actually read them. Shown here is Valspar. They're making finishes for several goods, such as furniture. The labor costs are much better in China, so it's highly profitable for them. But they're struggling because they're a US-owned and operated company in China, and business practices in US and China vary greatly. One example would be the gifting customs in China. Pictured here is Walmart, who has adjusted extremely well to the Chinese market. And I did a little internet research and I've yielded some very unique adaptations to the Chinese market. Here you see pictures of fine boxed liquors from all over the globe, bulk rice, cooking oil, and orange juice packaged together. Here's whole crocodiles for sale, I believe an orange in their mouth. And they have a box full of assorted reptiles for your delight. And here's some ducks for you to have for dinner. So as you can see, they've adjusted their product lines, especially their food, as we saw with 7-Eleven, to suit the Chinese market and the different tastes of the Asian culture. This has made them extremely profitable, and from my research on the internet, they just keep gaining a larger foothold in China.